If you're a developer, you know the drill. You probably spend a good chunk of your time on huge Q&A sites like Stack Overflow. I mean, they're the go-to for pretty much any coding problem. But have you ever stopped to wonder, what happened to all those old-school project-specific forums? You know, the ones dedicated to just one piece of software. Did the giants just completely wipe them out? Well, a team of researchers decided to find out. And believe me, the answer is not what you think.
And look, it's a fair assumption, right, that they're obsolete. Why would you bother with a small niche forum when you've got a massive gamified platform with millions and millions of users? It seems like a no-brainer. But that might not be the whole story. To really get to the bottom of this, we're going to look at one of the biggest, longest-running software ecosystems out there.
And our case study is the Eclipse ecosystem. It's this massive open-source project that's been around for what feels like forever. And the key thing here is that while a lot of other projects packed up and moved their communities to Stack Overflow, Eclipse held on to its own forums. So it's basically the perfect natural experiment to see if these places are just digital ghost towns or if they're still home to a real thriving community.
And when I say the researchers dug in, I mean they really dug in. They analyzed over 832,000 individual forum threads. Yeah, you heard that right. That is not a casual glance, folks. It's a massive, comprehensive look straight into the heart of how this community talks. So let's see what they found.
Okay, so the very first question you have to ask is, who is actually using these forums? Is it just a bunch of newcomers who don't know any better and haven't found their way to the bigger sites yet? Or is it someone else entirely?
To figure that out, we got to understand the social structure here. See, the Eclipse forum has this system that automatically gives you a status based on how much you participate. You start out as a junior member, you're the newcomer. Post a bit more, get involved, and you become a member, an established citizen. But the most active, the most helpful long-term contributors, they become senior members. Think of them as the village elders of this digital town.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. When somebody posts about a technical bug, who actually steps up to answer them? Well, just look at this chart. It's the senior members, the village elders, who are absolutely dominating. They provide 2/3 of all the answers. So this isn't newcomers helping other newcomers. It's the most experienced people in the entire community who are the most active problem solvers.
And this map, well, this is just a beautiful visual confirmation of that. It's a social map of the entire Eclipse ecosystem. Researchers tracked who is doing what across bug reports, code reviews, and the forums. And the key finding, the real kicker, is that the most active people across the entire project, the expert developers and code reviewers, are the exact same people who are the most active in the forums.
So what does this all mean? It means the forum isn't some forgotten backwater for beginners. Not at all. It's the central hub for the project's most valuable experts. It's where the core contributors meet up.
Okay, so we've established who is there, the experts. The next logical question is, well, what are they actually talking about? After sifting through thousands and thousands of posts, the researchers found a clear winner. The #1 topic, by a long shot, is something they call discrepancy. Now, these are not your simple how do I do X questions. A discrepancy post is when a developer is totally, completely stuck. The documentation isn't helping, the software is acting weird. In other words, these are the really hard problems.
Now, on a positive note, there's some good stuff happening with links. About 15% of the links that people share in the forums point directly to a specific bug report in the project's official tracker. And that is a fantastic practice. It connects the informal chat to the formal development process, and it creates this super valuable knowledge trail.
But there's a flip side, a pretty big one. The researchers also discovered that nearly 28%, almost a third, of all the links ever shared in these forums are now dead. They just lead to a 404 error. This is a huge problem called link rot. And it just goes to show how fragile this community knowledge can be. A brilliant solution from 10 years ago might be gone forever.
So we know who's talking and what they're talking about. The last piece of the puzzle is the vibe. You know, the emotional tone. What are these expert interactions actually like? Is it a super friendly, collaborative clubhouse?
Well, the study's official answer is that the sentiment is inconsistent, which is a very polite academic way of saying it's messy. It's not all good, it's not all bad, it's a mix of both, just like, any real human community.
So let's break down that inconsistency. On the one hand, you get a lot of positive procedural communication. That's the good stuff, right? Goal-oriented, helpful statements like, hey, try this, it should solve your problem. But then, on the other hand, you also get negative socio-emotional interactions. This is the unhelpful criticism, or just people arguing. It shows that while these forums are amazing for sharing knowledge, they're also a very, very human space, for better and for worse.
So, let's put it all together. The experts, the tough problems, even the messy human stuff. We can finally answer our big question. Why do these old-school forums not just survive, but in their own way, actually win?
It really all boils down to 3 key strengths that the giant platforms just can't easily replicate. First, they are expert-driven. As we saw, this is where the project's brain trust is at work. Second, they are deeply specific. They are built for those unique, what on earth is happening kinds of problems. And finally, they are engines of community cultivation. This is where a project builds its identity, its culture, and its collective memory.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, maybe the future of open source communities isn't one giant platform to rule them all. Maybe it's a whole ecosystem of many different thriving digital town squares, each one a home for its own experts, its own culture, and its own deep, irreplaceable knowledge. The old school forum isn't dead. Turns out it's been busy doing the most important work all along,